I was in the parking lot of Whole Foods when my phone rang. Unknown number. Local area code. Miss Chen? This is Patricia Williams from the county recorder's office. Do you own a property at 4782 Ridgeline Road? My mountain cabin. The one my grandmother left me when I was 23. The one I'd spent 6 years renovating with my own hands. New roof, new plumbing, refinished hardwood floors. Every weekend for 6 years. Every vacation day. The place where I'd proposed to my fiancé last Christmas. Yes. Why? We received a deed transfer application yesterday. Sale price $890,000. Except your signature from the original 2019 deed doesn't match the signature on this new document. Not even close. I've been doing this for 22 years. This isn't a variation. This is two completely different people. The grocery bags in my trunk shifted. I heard glass break. Probably the olive oil. I didn't move. Who submitted it? Your father, Richard Chen. He's listed as power of attorney. I'd never given my father power of attorney. Not for anything. Not ever. Can you hold the transfer? Already flagged in the system. Red alert status. This doesn't proceed without your physical presence, 2 forms of ID and notarized authorization. I'm calling as a courtesy because fraud cases get ugly. You should contact an attorney. She gave me her direct number. I saved it. Then I called my father. He answered on the first ring. Sweetheart. Perfect timing. I'm at Bella Vista with some business associates. Can you join us for dinner? Celebrate the good news. What good news? The cabin sale. Closes Friday. Buyers are thrilled, they're already planning the renovation. Professional architect, the whole thing. You should see their vision boards. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I didn't authorize any sale. Silence. Then laughter. Warm, paternal, absolutely confident. Honey, we discussed this. Last month. You said you never use the place anymore, too much maintenance, better to liquidate. Remember? You signed the paperwork at that restaurant. What was it called? The Italian place. I'd never had that conversation. I'd never signed anything. And I went to that cabin every other weekend. Dad. The county recorder's office just called. They flagged the deed as fraudulent. The signature doesn't match. Another pause. Longer this time. Background noise filtered through, clinking glasses, laughter, slot machines in the distance. He was at the casino. That's ridiculous. Must be some clerical error. I'll call them tomorrow, straighten it out. Patricia Williams. 22 years experience. She said it's not a variation. It's 2 different people. She used the word fraud. His voice changed. Dropped the warmth. Don't be dramatic. This is a simple real estate transaction. The buyers have already put down $50,000 earnest money. Moving trucks are booked for next Tuesday. You're going to embarrass me over some bureaucrat's confusion. How much do you owe? What? How much gambling debt? That's what this is about, isn't it? The silence stretched so long I thought he'd hung up. Then, that's not relevant. The cabin's just sitting there. This is a smart financial move. How much? $340,000. Give or take. But that's being handled. The cabin sale clears everything. Fresh start. You'd understand if you'd stop being so selfish about a property you barely use. I barely use it. I'd been there 3 days ago. I had groceries in the fridge with expiration dates 2 weeks out. My fiancé's hiking boots were still on the porch. The sale's blocked. Permanently. And I'm contacting the police. You wouldn't. I hung up. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about a moment from 8 months ago. I'd invited Dad to the cabin for Thanksgiving. He'd walked through every room asking detailed questions. How much did I think it was worth? Had I gotten it appraised recently? Did I have the deed in a safe place? I thought he was being interested. Making conversation. Taking pride in what I'd built. He was pricing it. Calculating. Planning. The next morning I drove to the county recorder's office. Patricia Williams was exactly what she sounded like on the phone. 60-ish, reading glasses on a chain, the kind of government employee who treats public records like sacred texts. She pulled up both documents on her screen. My original deed from 2019 when Grandma's estate transferred to me. Then the fraudulent deed from last week. See. She pointed. Your 2019 signature. Confident, clear loops on the C, distinctive slant. This one from last week. Hesitant, shaky, totally different letter formation. This is someone who's never signed your name before. Probably practiced a few times but gave up. She zoomed in. The forgery was obvious now that I was looking. My real signature had this particular way the H and D connected. A quirk from years of signing checks quickly. The fake one had them separated. Distinct letters. Wrong. I've already contacted the title company. They're freezing everything. I also sent a report to the district attorney's office. This is felony fraud in Colorado. Up to 6 years. What happens to the buyers? Their earnest money gets refunded. They'll be annoyed but unharmed. The real victim here is you. She looked at me over her glasses. Your father tried to steal $890,000 from you. That's not a family disagreement. That's a crime. I hired an attorney that afternoon. Michael Torres, real estate fraud specialist. He'd handled 3 cases like mine in the past year. Apparently, family property theft was having a moment. We'll file for a restraining order, he said, reviewing the documents. Freeze any access he might have to your financial accounts. Send cease and desist to any title companies in the county. Then we wait for the DA to decide on prosecution. Will they prosecute? $890,000 fraud with documented forgery? Yes. This isn't ambiguous. He signed your name to a deed. That's black and white illegal. The restraining order was approved in 48 hours. Dad couldn't come within 500 feet of me or the cabin. Any contact had to go through attorneys. He tried to call 6 times that day. Then my mother called. You filed a restraining order against your father? Do you know how humiliating this is? He forged my signature to steal my cabin. He was trying to solve a problem. Those people he owes money to, they're serious people. Dangerous. He was protecting the family. By committing fraud? You're so rigid. So black and white. This is your father. The man who raised you. You'd destroy him over property? I'd hold him accountable for crimes. Yes. She hung up. 10 minutes later my sister called. You need to drop this. Dad's a mess. He's talking about, I don't know, he's scaring me. Just let him have the cabin. It's not worth this. It's worth $890,000. And 6 years of my life renovating it. And it's mine. Family is more important than property. Then why did he choose gambling debt over family? She didn't have an answer for that. The district attorney filed charges 3 weeks later. 2 counts. Forgery and theft by deception. Combined maximum sentence, 12 years. My father hired a defense attorney who immediately called Michael. Would I consider a plea arrangement? Dad would enter counseling, pay restitution, avoid prison? What restitution? Michael asked. He doesn't have liquid assets, the defense attorney admitted. But he's willing to attend Gamblers Anonymous, complete a treatment program. He tried to steal $890,000. Restitution isn't counseling. It's money. Which he gambled away. The defense attorney tried a different approach. This will destroy your family. Your father could go to prison. Your mother's reputation in the community. Your sister's business connections. Is that really what you want? I thought about that for a long time. Then I told Michael, I want him prosecuted fully. No plea deal. Because here's what I'd been adding up. What I called the theft ledger. The theft ledger. 8 months of planning. Every question about the cabin's value, every casual inquiry about my estate planning. That was reconnaissance. Time spent calculating how to rob his daughter instead of solving his addiction. Uncountable. The $50,000 earnest money from innocent buyers that would have been stolen if Patricia Williams wasn't meticulous. Theft from strangers, using my property as collateral. 6 years of weekends spent renovating. 6 years of physical labor. Roofing in July heat, plumbing in March cold. My hands still had scars from replacing the deck railing. He was going to take all of that, convert it to cash and hand it to a casino. My past stolen. My future at that cabin. My engagement there. The plan to get married on the deck next fall, surrounded by aspen trees. The fantasy of eventual kids running through those rooms. He was selling my future to pay for his addiction. My tomorrow stolen. But the thing that hurt most? I'd invited him to Thanksgiving. Showed him everything I'd built. And his first thought was, How can I take this from her? That's not family. That's predation. The trial was scheduled for October. But 3 things happened first. 1. The casino where Dad gambled most frequently, Bella Vista Resort, banned him permanently. Turned out they'd been tracking his behavior for months. When the fraud case became public, they didn't want the liability. He owed them $180,000. They filed their own civil suit. 2. His employer, a mid-sized accounting firm, placed him on immediate administrative leave pending investigation. Embezzlement concerns. They'd hired a forensic accountant to review 7 years of client accounts. The preliminary report found irregularities. 3. My mother filed for divorce. She discovered a second mortgage on their house I didn't know about. $200,000 borrowed 18 months ago. All gone. She'd be losing the house. The marriage. The retirement she'd planned for 40 years. She called me once. You were right. I'm sorry. I didn't know what to say to that. So I just said, I'm sorry this happened to you. As I was. He was a victim too. We all were. The plea offer came back in September. Dad would plead guilty to 1 count of forgery, drop the theft charge. 3 years probation, mandatory gambling treatment, $15,000 restitution payable over 5 years, community service. No prison time. Michael laid it out. If we go to trial, he might get prison. 2 to 4 years. But it's not guaranteed. Judges sometimes go light on first-time white-collar offenders, especially older defendants. And trials are expensive. Emotionally and financially. This plea deal ensures consequences without the gamble. No pun intended. What happens if he violates probation? Automatic prison time. The original sentence activates. I thought about the cabin. About Patricia Williams calling me as a courtesy. About how close this came to succeeding. I'll accept the plea. But I want it stated in court. On the record. What he did. The plea hearing was November 14th. Small courtroom, just attorneys and the judge. Dad looked smaller than I remembered. Grayer. His hands shook when he signed the paperwork. The judge read the charges aloud. Mr. Chen, you are pleading guilty to forgery in the 1st degree. Specifically, you forged your daughter's signature on a deed transferring property worth $890,000 to pay gambling debts. Do you understand these charges? Yes, Your Honor. Do you admit to these facts as stated? A long pause. Then quietly, yes, Your Honor. The judge sentenced him according to the plea agreement. Then she added something that wasn't required. Mr. Chen, in 30 years on the bench, I've seen a lot of financial fraud. But stealing from your own child, stealing her home, that's a betrayal I find particularly disturbing. You didn't just forge a document. You betrayed a fundamental trust. I hope you understand the magnitude of what you've done. And I hope your daughter can someday forgive you, though she'd be well within her rights not to. Dad's attorney asked if he could address the court. The judge allowed it. I'm sorry. He looked at me for the first time. I'm sorry for everything. The cabin. The lies. I was desperate. That's not an excuse. It's just the truth. I was desperate and stupid and I hurt you. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just need you to know I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. There was nothing to say. The hearing ended. Dad left with his attorney. I left with mine. That was 6 months ago. The cabin is still mine. I had new locks installed. Changed the security codes. Removed Dad from any emergency contact lists. The property is in a trust now. Ironclad, attorney drafted, fraud-proof. I go there most weekends. My fiancé and I got married there last month just like we planned. Small ceremony. 20 people. None of them were Dad. Mom came. She's rebuilding. Sold the house, moved into a condo, started over at 62. We have lunch sometimes. It's careful. Polite. We're learning how to be family again, but different. Smaller. More honest. My sister and I don't talk. He thinks I destroyed Dad. I think he destroyed himself. Dad completed gambling treatment. He's 3 months sober from casinos. He pays $250 per month in restitution. At that rate, he'll finish paying me back when he's 78. I don't need the money. I make 6 figures as a software engineer. The cabin's paid off. I'm financially fine. But I don't waive the restitution. Because every month when that $250 check arrives, it's a reminder. Not for him, for me. A reminder that I chose myself. That I didn't set myself on fire to keep a gambling addict warm. That when someone tries to steal your life, even if they're family, you're allowed to stop them. The county recorder's office sent me a letter last month. A courtesy notification that my deed is permanently flagged in their system. Any future transfer attempts trigger automatic fraud review and personal contact with me. Patricia Williams included a handwritten note. Glad you're keeping the cabin. You fought for it. That matters. I have the note pinned to my bulletin board at the cabin. Right next to my wedding photo. Some people say I should forgive him. Let it go. He's family. Isaac. He made a mistake. But here's what I know about forgiveness. It's not the same thing as trust. And it's not the same thing as access. I hope Dad stays sober. I hope he heals. I hope he rebuilds whatever life he can with the pieces he has left. But he doesn't get my cabin. He doesn't get my weekends. He doesn't get to walk me down imaginary aisles or hold imaginary grandchildren. Those things require trust. And you can't forge that signature. The deed is mine. The cabin is mine. The future I build there is mine. And every month that $250 restitution check reminds both of us. Some things you can't gamble away and expect to win back.